It started as just a simple lemonade stand on a quiet street, a little boy with a big heart, doing whatever he could to help his sick mom. Every day he stood there, selling cup after cup, hoping to raise enough money for her chemo treatments. People stopped by, touched by his story, dropping in extra dollars to support him. But no one could have imagined what happened next. One afternoon, as the boy wiped sweat from his forehead and poured another glass, a familiar face strolled by. It was none other than Clint Eastwood. At first, the boy didn't even recognize him. Just another customer, right? But then Eastwood did something that left everyone speechless. The entire street seemed to pause, watching as the legendary actor changed this boy's life in a way no one saw coming. What did he do? Stay tuned, because this story is about to take an unbelievable turn. The boy looked up, squinting in the sun as the man reached for his wallet. His hands shook slightly, not from fear, but from exhaustion. He had been out there all day, calling out to passers-by, hoping they'd stop. Some did, some didn't. But this man, something about him felt different. Clint Eastwood studied the stand for a moment. The handwritten sign, the worn-out table, the nearly empty pitcher of lemonade. Then his eyes landed on the boy. "How much for a cup?" he asked, his voice calm but firm. The boy hesitated before answering, not sure if he was imagining this. When he finally spoke, his voice was small. 50 cents. Eastwood pulled out his wallet, but instead of a few coins, he took out something else, something that made the boy's eyes widen. The few people nearby stopped talking, sensing something big was happening. But what was Clint Eastwood about to do? The boy's breath caught in his throat as he stared at the crisp $100 bill in Clint Eastwood's hand. He had never seen that much money in one place, let alone held it. "Keep the change," Eastwood said, sliding the bill onto the table. But he didn't walk away. He just stood there, watching the boy's reaction. People nearby whispered, some pulling out their phones, but the boy barely noticed. His fingers hovered over the money, his heart pounding. "Are you sure?" he finally asked, his voice shaky. Eastwood nodded. "What you doing here? It matters," he said. His gaze drifted to the photo taped to the stand, a picture of the boy and his mother, her smile warm but her eyes tired. Just then, a car pulled up across the street, and a man in a suit stepped out. He looked serious, almost out of place. The moment his eyes landed on Eastwood, everything changed. The man in the suit moved quickly, his polished shoes clicking against the pavement. His sharp eyes darted from the lemonade stand to Clint Eastwood, then to the boy. The air around them grew tense. People whispered, unsure of who he was or why he looked so urgent. The boy clutched the $100 bill tightly, afraid it might disappear if he let go. Eastwood, calm as ever, turned toward the man. "Something I can help you with?" he asked, his voice steady but unreadable. The man hesitated, then cleared his throat. "Mr. Eastwood, I need to speak with you. It's important." His tone was serious, almost too serious for a moment like this. The boy looked between them confused. Was something wrong? Why did this stranger seem so determined to interrupt? Before anyone could say another word, the man reached into his jacket, and in that instant, the entire street seemed to hold its breath. The boy's heart pounded as the man reached into his jacket. A tense silence filled the air. Eastwood didn't flinch, just watched with quiet focus. The people nearby seemed frozen, unsure of what was about to happen. Then, in one swift motion, the man pulled out, not a weapon, but an envelope. He extended it toward Eastwood. "This is for you," he said firmly. The legendary actor took the envelope without a word. He turned it over in his hands, eyes narrowing slightly as if piecing something together. The boy watched, gripping his lemonade stand as his mind raced. What was inside? A contract? A letter? A secret message? Then, something even stranger happened. The man turned to the boy. "And this," he said, pulling out a second envelope, "is for you." The boy hesitated before taking it. It felt heavy in his small hands. He looked up, confused. "Why me?" The man sighed, glancing at Eastwood before answering. Because sometimes the right people need to be in the right place at the right time. The boy slowly peeled back the flap, but before he could look inside, Eastwood spoke. Wait. His voice was calm, but firm. Open it carefully. This is bigger than you think. The boy swallowed hard, sensing that whatever was inside would change everything. The boy's fingers trembled as he slowly pulled the envelope open. Inside was a neatly folded stack of papers, too many for just a simple note. His eyes scanned the words, but it took a moment for them to register. Then his breath caught. It was a check with more zeros than he had ever seen in his life. His heart pounded as he looked up at the man in the suit, then at Clint Eastwood, who gave him a small nod, as if to say, asterisk, go on, keep reading asterisk. The boy turned to the next page. His mother's name was there, hospital records, medical bills, and at the bottom, stamped and signed, asterisk paid in full, asterisk. His chest tightened. Was this real? Tears filled his eyes as he looked up at Eastwood, his voice barely above a whisper. Did you? Eastwood gave a small smile but said nothing. The man in the suit stepped forward. Mr. Eastwood heard about your story, he explained. He wanted to make sure your mom got the treatment she needed. The boy's legs felt weak. He could hardly process what was happening. He had been standing on this corner, sweating in the sun, selling lemonade, just to get a little closer to saving his mom. And now, just like that, someone had done the impossible for him. But then, just as relief started to sink in, the man in the suit cleared his throat. There's one more thing, he said, pulling out a smaller piece of paper. Mr. Eastwood also had this arranged. The boy took it and blinked. It was a job offer for his mom. A fresh start, a new beginning, waiting for her the moment she got better. Tears rolled down his cheeks as he clutched the papers to his chest. He had set up a lemonade stand to save his mom. But in the end, a stranger, no, a legend, had saved asterisk them both asterisk. The boy wiped his tears, gripping the papers tightly as if afraid they might disappear. People around him started clapping, some wiping their own eyes, moved by what they had just witnessed. Even strangers felt the weight of this moment, one of kindness, fate, and pure human generosity. Eastwood placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. You've got a good heart, kid, he said with a nod. Never stop believing in what you're fighting for. Then, with the same quiet grace he had arrived with, he turned and walked away, leaving behind more than just money. He left behind hope. The boy couldn't wait to run home, to tell his mom that everything was going to be okay. The bills were gone, her treatment was covered, and a fresh start was waiting for them. He had set up a lemonade stand to save her, but in the end, kindness had saved them both.